Well, welcome back. Beyond Meat's wild meme stock ride continues. Shares lower today, down as much as 22% pre-market, but up nearly 400% so far this week. And while volatility is the name of the meme trade game, there are signs some options traders are actually banking on a bit of stability in a few of these names. I'm nervous to even say that. Joining me now to discuss is Susquehanna's Chris Murphy. Okay, I think we're all still trying to understand meme stocks. How the retail trader ends up glomming onto one. Is it still Reddit? Just sort of explain where we are right now in 2025 with meme stocks, and if it's similar or dissimilar from 2021 when this phenomenon began.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it really can start anywhere. I think with the Beyond Meat situation, you had just an enormous sell-off over the last couple of years. And I think most importantly, a huge short position for, one of these situations to get kicked off. That seems to be a big component. So short covering spike, then the momentum begins. And then that's really when you see the call buying. So it's not typically that the call buying is the catalyst. It's the move in the stock is the catalyst. And then you see the call buying follow on. Okay. And Beyond Meat was obviously the first mover in the most recent surge here.
So if I can drill into this and get a little wonky when we're talking about the short covering, our data team here sort of looked through the numbers and said, yes, Beyond Meat's short covering position or short interest was much higher previously, but they've updated the shares outstanding. So really, it's more like a 10% short interest, which is not that high when you're talking about sort of a meme stock short interest. But does that not matter here? Does that not apply?
I think once the momentum kind of starts and you see the huge surge in call buying, and I would point out it's not just small lots, which we typically attribute to retail. There's larger blocks trading as well.
Okay.
So it is certainly a momentum story in addition to the short interest.
Okay. So we mentioned in the intro that you think there actually could be some stability here. Why do you think that? And if we follow that thesis, what should we do? I mean, if you are an investor that typically is investing based on fundamentals or so maybe even technicals, is it dangerous to sort of follow the meme trade here to try to make some money?
Well, I think you need to know what it is.
Okay.
You need to know that you're playing a momentum situation. You're not necessarily investing on fundamentals. That's not to say that there's opportunities. I mean, you can kind of watch how this unfolded. Mm-hmm. It started with Beyond Meat, and then all of a sudden people are looking at Sweetgreen and Wendy's and DNUT, and those stocks start to move, and you start to see call buying there and stocks moving higher. So, it is a specific type of trade. You do have to, be thoughtful about, okay, it's happening in Beyond Meat. Where is it going to happen next? And then you also, in terms of how not to trade it, you just have to be careful when volatility levels get this high. Mm-hmm. We've seen this movie before. A lot of times these skyrocketing moves come back to earth. But, you have to be careful when you're buying options, for example, put options, because one component is the volatility level. And there's situations where in Beyond Meat, for example, the stock goes higher, but the puts become more expensive. And that's because volatility has moved up so much. And that can work both ways, where the stock can come back down to earth, but you can not make any money on your puts because so much volatility comes out.
So I would love to get your thoughts very quick. I have two questions very quickly on the quantum stocks. We were talking about it earlier on in the show, and obviously there are some potential fundamental things happening there which may initially move those stocks, but it also seems to have gotten tangled up in this meme trade. Should we look at those stocks differently, since there seem to be some fundamental reasons why you might want to be long those names?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, especially if you're looking at it as I'm not an expert in these stocks, but if you're looking at it as a situation where, sure, there's a chance they could not be worth that much in the future, and there's a chance they could be revolutionary. So, there's a probability of a huge move higher, and there's a probability of it not going anywhere. And, the fair value of the stock would be somewhere in between that. So, that would be my view on that.
I have more questions because I've got more to learn, but unfortunately, Chris Murphy of Susquehanna, we have more breaking news, so I have to let you go, but I'm going to have you back.